put the little bowl on the... I never noticed that. Oh, hello, by the way. It's Kendall here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, home skillet biscuit? Happy Saturday. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what Saturdays usually are, it's usually when I do something called Bad Movies and a Beat, the series on my channel where I talk about bad movies while putting my makeup on. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're talking about a shitty gay movie because Pride. Oh, speaking of Pride, forgot to do this last week and I'm kicking myself, but I'm gonna put down again for the girls for a donation. If you're wondering, we're not working together. They don't know who I am, but they're just a fund that I think is good to give to. It is a Black trans-led foundation that helps transgender people with medical bills, transportation, all those things that can get really expensive. So feel free to check them out down below. I wanted to put that early in the video because I will forget. I have 3 brain cells. And last but not least, let's send it over to RawBeautyKristi so she can pay some bills. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is RawBeautyKristi and today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, which is 100% online. I've actually been a customer of BetterHelp for about 3 years. That's where I found my therapist. Therapy is a wonder, especially if you're doing it long term with the same therapist. See how different you are as you grow and progress, conquer certain challenges, maybe find new challenges along the way, because it's never over, is it? But it's nice to have an objective professional guide you in whatever way you particularly need. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a whole wide range of issues. They give you a survey when you get on there. I personally really wanted a woman Black therapist, particularly one that was around my age, maybe 10, 15 years older, and that's what I got, and I've loved her ever since. I lucked out on my first try with my therapist, but if you ever get with a therapist and you're just like, hey, we're not clicking, I'm not quite getting what I need, maybe I need a different approach, you can always switch your therapist, no charge to you. Chat with them however you're most comfortable. You can text them, you can video call them, video chat, or you can do on the phone. Personally, I like the phone. You can do weekly sessions and message them anytime, and it's made to be convenient for you so that you can do so at your own time. And it was the most convenient option for me because I wanted to go with traditional therapy and couldn't get seen for 4 months, but I was able to get a therapist way quicker with BetterHelp. So if you're interested in therapy and want to give BetterHelp a try, feel free to check out my link down below. You can get 10% off your first month if you go to betterhelp.com/KennieJD. That's betterhelp.com/KennieJD to start getting matched up with your therapist. Big thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery. Before you ask, I don't know if you're gonna ask, yes, this is my real hair. I hate doing my real hair. It's incredibly frustrating. I want to shave my head bald. Every time I try to style my hair, whether it be curly, straight, this is not straight to me. This is like whatever. It's still poofy and fluffy. But in an effort to not go bald, instead, I'm probably gonna get a piercing after I'm done. That's what I've been doing whenever I'm really stressed out, so I want to get one like right here. I'll figure it out. Anyway, so the last 2 weeks I've been talking about the Ultimatum queer love, so I haven't been doing my makeup on camera. By the way, people have been asking me if I've seen Tiff's video. I have. If you saw my videos, I had some concerns in regards to Tiff and Mildred's relationship, and basically Tiff confirmed that all of those things were well-founded. And I'm side-eyeing production because do they ever care about the actual well-being of people? Probably not. I'll also link their video down below if you are curious. But since the month started, we've been doing nothing but falling too much into reality. I wanted to watch something dumb and fanciful and also gay because it's Pride. And so I decided to watch this movie that I knew would be absolute trash, complete garbage, complete and utter mindless fun. A piece of shit rom-com with none other than our friend to the show, Dylan Sprouse, who seems to be in so many of the worst rom-coms I've seen in the last few years. God bless him. Today, we are talking about a film called My Fake Boyfriend 2022. It embodies everything a rom-com is supposed to be, both in structure and delivery. But again, it's gay. And for once, the lead is a black guy. And also the gay guy isn't the comedic sidekick, and instead they have the annoying straight guy for comedic relief. It's kind of fun. We're switching it up a little bit. And he's really hot to me. So is the main love interest. Ugh. A young man in a tricky situation follows the advice of his unconventional best friend and uses social media to create a fake boyfriend to keep his awful ex-lover out of his life. But everything backfires when he meets the real love of his life, and breaking up with his fake boyfriend proves hard to do. I watched the trailer a few weeks ago. It looked really corny and stupid and horribly made. It's produced by Lionsgate and BuzzFeed. Does BuzzFeed produce film? Like real film? Since when do they do that? Which does make sense though, because this movie does feel like a very, very, very long BuzzFeed sketch, which in a way makes it feel very nostalgic for me, so I'm not necessarily mad at it. Is the movie good? Define good. Is it some savant-led masterful writing or acting or storytelling direction? No, it's a piece of shit from BuzzFeed. And honestly, there's some ways that it fundamentally fails worse than the worst movies in structurally being a movie. There's some editing mistakes that they just never in the last year felt the need to fix. There's like a whole 10-second spot where everyone's mics are off and they don't go in post and add audio, so you just hear music in the background. But when I went in there, I was expecting some kitschy trash, but in the best way possible. A little gem of mindless joy that you need sometimes when people are trying to make you watch self-aggrandizing, devoid of substance rubbish like The Idol, which as of filming, there's only 2 episodes out. I've seen both of them. If you haven't seen it, it's not even worth hate watching. It really isn't. And this is coming from a person, again, that loves trash. I'm a connoisseur of crap. It's not even worth hate watching. Also, I plan to make a video about the first season. Hopefully there's not a second one. So if you want something to watch, give it a few weeks when they're done with the season, and I'll be sure to help you with that. Like, The Idol's bad, but not in a way that's worth watching if you're not getting compensated. Just leave it to the professionals. But if you're missing out on My Fake Boyfriend, I think that, you're missing out on something, though not a great work of art, cute. And if you just want something mindless to watch, it's cute. So without further ado, this is My Fake Boyfriend 2022. So the movie begins in quite the late millennial, early Gen Z way, showing our main character, his name is Andrew, on social media. And we learn a lot about him even from the credits before anyone even says a line. We learn that Andrew is best friends with a man named Dylan. Nope. That's his real name. With a man named Jake, who's played by Dylan Sprouse, that he's been friends with him for a very long time, that Jake has a girlfriend named Kelly, and they've been together for like 6 years. You learn that he is a stuntman and also a self-defense instructor. But yeah, he has a very full and interesting life. But the only like main issue that we see is that he's in a very tumultuous on-again, off-again situationship with one of the actors on the show that he does stunt work for, Nico. Now, Nico is all the things that you think of when you think of a stereotypical, attractive, buff celebrity. He's egomaniacal, non-committal, self-absorbed. But Andrew and Nico have been in this situationship for a while now, almost a year, and they've been known to break up and get back together and break up and get back together. Now, though Nico and Andrew aren't official, that doesn't stop anyone from feeling some type of way. It gets the best of us. Not me though. I've retired. I've just given up. But y'all be easy, y'all rest easy. It doesn't stop you from feeling some type of way when you see someone text the man that's not your man, but is your man's phone, sending sexually explicit texts as well as dick pics. And Nico's definitely the type of person to like dangle the carrot of monogamy in front of Andrew, even while being like, well, yeah, someone's sending me a dick pic, but like, we're not together yet though. But like, I'm gonna get this dick pic right in front of you. He's like, babe, no. Like, sure, I'm completely disrespecting you by accepting a sext right in front of you, but like, I can't control what people send to my phone. Like, I'm but a man and a celebrity. It just comes with the territory, you understand. And Andrew is holding on to the unfulfilled promise of commitment. So Andrew goes and talks to his friend Jake. They've been friends since childhood and they've always kind of looked out for each other. Granted, Jake has the tendency to be a bit overzealous in his attempts to help, which, as you can guess, will be a factor in the story quite a bit. But Jake has been telling Andrew to leave Nico for a very long time now. So much so that he's like keeping a journal of each time they break up. And apparently they are now on number 9. And he tells him that if he doesn't leave him, he's going to have to go nuclear if they break up a 10th time. What does nuclear mean? Well, we won't know until we get there. So let's hope that we don't. Spoiler, we're going to get there because it's a rom-com and that's the whole premise of the movie. For the next few days, Andrew attempts to go cold turkey from Nico. He finds that to be quite hard. He's finding himself kind of obsessed with what he's doing online, obsessed with his shitty soap opera. One day, Andrew gets a voice note from Nico basically saying like, hey, it's been a whole year. It's an anniversary of when we first met on set. Like, let's celebrate together. And that's all it takes for Andrew to lose all of his resolve and want to go see Nico despite himself. But just like the best friend that he is, Jake knew that this is around the time Andrew would lose his resolve, so he's there right when he's about to drop everything to go see Nico again. They decide that they're going to play chess as a distraction with Andrew's neighbor, but Andrew's able to sneak out without Jake noticing because Jake is an idiot. So he makes his way across town over to Nico, where Nico is able to sweet talk him back into having sex with him after giving him a gift for their anniversary, a watch. And he's able to return without Jake even noticing, because again, Jake is an idiot. So Andrew returns to set and ends up chatting with one of his coworkers, another stunt woman, and he tells her about the gift that he had given him. And she's like, babe, that is a cast gift that they gave everyone in the main cast. You are not special. He just re-gifted something to you. And in the final display of Nico not giving a crap about Andrew, he ends up finding him making out with another one of the castmates on set. So Andrew is back on the Nico, let me go drown my sorrows in gay clubs and meet new people, because obviously doesn't care about me. You know the vibes. But the problem with that is that clubs also suck. And suddenly Andrew's at this kind of depressed fatalist place where he's like, he's the first guy I've ever loved. I don't know if I'll meet a guy as great as him, even though he's terrible. But I mean, I guess he has status, he's an actor, he's successful or whatever, but he treats you like shit. You can find somebody else that'll treat you like shit if that's just what you're looking for. And his friends are just like, no, you deserve better than this. Like, come on, meet new people. So Jake, ever the helper that he is and the meddler that he is, he ends up signing up both of them as a couple on a bunch of gay dating apps. And he says what he'll do is say that we're looking for a third. And if he meets somebody really cool, he'll tell them that they broke up and leave the account to Andrew so that he can talk to the people. Stupid. I don't know why they had to be in a throuple to get people's attention, but okay. And this again is what Jake knows is helping. So thanks, Jakey. They end up matching up with a guy that's in the same restaurant. This is Leo. Leo's a lot, but they don't know that yet, so it's all good. Jake does the whole fake breakup so that Leo knows that Andrew's the one to go for. They sit down, and very quickly this Leo guy is like, you need to stop lying on your dating apps because I think you're cute, so I'll stay, but like someone else might be a little annoyed that you're being dishonest. And then shows the photo that Jake had uploaded onto the app, which is like a horrible Photoshop of both of them being like obscenely buff. But like I said, Leo's a lot.
How's your drink? Why? Did you put something in it? No.
Oh, wow. Okay. And apparently he's a lot everywhere he goes because people that know him by name and they tend to believe that he's the issue because he usually is. And they end up kicking him out after he causes a bit of a scene. In case you're worried, he will be back. But one good thing about this interaction is that it ends up getting Andrew kind of talking to the bartender / bouncer. They hit it off. This is also the scene where they forgot to put audio, so it's very awkward to watch. And it's the type of conversation I can't even read the lips to know what they're talking about. This isn't how you make film, people. This is a mess. But what we garner from it is that he's Canadian and speaks like a caveman. But they end up going back to Andrew's place, presumably to hook up. And Andrew seems into it until he starts to get too much in his head and he starts to think about Nico. He excuses himself to the bathroom to kind of hype himself up. Like, come on, Nico's sleeping with other people. He's been sleeping with other people the entire time we've been seeing each other. I should be able to sleep with one other person. Like, come on. But luckily, his meddling friends are outside and can see him pacing in the bathroom, so they call him and give him a pep talk to beat it up. Literally, those are the words they use. The dumb guy in the living room is like, oh, that means he likes to wrestle. I don't know how we get to this scene in particular where they're running around the living room about to fight, but it ends in mayhem just as it started. It would seem that Nico at some point in the night had seen Andrew leave out with this buff Canadian dude. And so he's swift to come over the house to make sure that his tried and true, his old faithful is still there pining for him. He goes up to the apartment as the Canadian dude comes down and goes up to assumably have sex. Now, being that the friends see this, they're like, oh my God, this is the 10th breakup. This is it. We gotta go nuclear. We've been planning this for months. It's time to bring out the big guns. If you're curious what the big guns are, they are a very sophisticated AI that Drake has been constructing over the course of months called Cristiano, who is going to play as Andrew's fake boyfriend. And Cristiano is everything that everyone would love. Beautiful, buff. He has a sexy European accent. He's a philanthropist, a civil rights activist. So it doesn't take long for everyone in Andrew's life to start to wonder, who is this guy? Where did you meet him? Oh my God, he's amazing. And people are like weirdly congratulating Andrew for this person who he knew nothing about. So the next morning, Nico's phone is going crazy, getting notifications about this guy. And Andrew is like, what are you talking about? And that's where he sees the myriad of social media posts that Jake had made with him and this fictional person, Cristiano. So Nico is immediately jealous and upset about this person that apparently Andrew has gone social media official with. Like, it's giving very Vanessa, like, I didn't even fathom that you could like another person but me. And Andrew's kind of just reeling because what the hell is going on? His mom calls to congratulate him on this wonderful person that he's met who's also a civil rights activist, which is catnip to her apparently. And Andrew's like, stop all of this. Nico's upset. I've made him so mad. And Jake is like, hello, that's the point. But Andrew's like, I'm not on board. Let's not do this, until he goes back to work. There's Nico like, oh, you're such a hypocrite. You were begging me for monogamy and you're with this dude. Who is this? Andrew's like, wow, I have an opportunity to have the upper hand for once. I'm not waiting on your beck and call. You're like upset because I'm not available. Yeah, I have a boyfriend. And his name is Cristiano. So he calls Jake back and he says, hey, what if I'm on board with this dumbass scam you're pulling? And thus commences an incredibly elaborate scheme to have a bunch of photos and instances and backstories about Andrew and Cristiano, where they met, where they've traveled, and just them being hot together. With that said, Jake, being the head runner here, is not a fan of subtlety, so he goes a bit overboard.
Boy, what happened to jogging in Central Park? I see bulls.
Well, the man has to be larger than life to deal with Nico's monstrous ego.
But being that this is a rom-com, we have a major issue here that may blow up the lie entirely. One day, Andrew is driving his neighbor to a cooking class that he goes to, and he sees the instructor of said cooking class outside, and he is gorgeous. Holy shit. Oh my God. This is Rafi. Rafi is this really cool, chill guy. He runs this cooking class and also the restaurant in the basement. And Andrew decides, hey, I'm going to come in for once. because I didn't know he was fine. Andrew goes in, decides to take the class himself, and Raffi comes up to him and says, hey, I've heard a lot about you. Your neighbor had talked about you quite a bit. It's good to have you here. Apparently, Andrew is a horrible cook to such a degree that it's dangerous. He may burn an entire house down. And so he doesn't even know how to chop vegetables. So here comes Raffi. He comes up behind him and it's like, oh, I hope he gay. And I'm watching it like, how gay are you? I can be a third. Okay. And meanwhile, Jake is really falling in deep into his fictitious social media, culturally, socioeconomically conscious Adonis out on the internet. He's taking it very seriously. He's learning how to motion capture, learning how to do AI shit. It's very funny because there's no way one man could do that so seamlessly that no one could tell it's not a real person, but it's a comedy again. Andrew comes to work the next day to find that he's been fired because Nico is a dick. I don't know how he was legally able to do that, but he's not. By the way, you can't do that. It's called retaliation, I heard. If someone fires you because you guys broke up, you can't do that. Anyway, but it's a movie. He's losing his mind, and Jake is like, take this as an opportunity for you to not be under Nico's thumb. Cristiano is making money as an influencer. He's raising money for rhinos and shit. I'm sure that he can plug you as a stunt person and really get your name out there. So let's do that. So they do that. They show his stunt reel and he ends up getting the part of like lead fight choreographer for an upcoming sci-fi movie. Things are working out. They're going bad and then getting better. It's working. So as a thanks for helping him get this movie part, Andrew says, let's bring everyone to Raffi's restaurant. And who's at the front? Of course, it's Leo. Great. There's only 6 people in New York, apparently. They sit down and Kelly and Jake decide to devise a plan to see if Raffi's gay or not, because they don't know at this point.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, one more.
Come in here, big guy.
Okay, all right. Oh, no. Okay.
It's not the best plan, not the most sound plan, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. No, I don't. This is assault. But Jake feels like because Raffi seemed a bit repulsed by him, he must be straight. That could be the only reason why he's completely repulsed by anything that Jake did. Leo ends up getting kicked out after he does Leo things.
I got it, okay? This predator tried to blind me because I don't want to go out with him.
Leo got hit with a cork.
Leo was assaulted with a projectile, actually.
And as an apology, Raffi's like, let me make dinner for you guys and stay as long as you want. So they stay chatting with them. They learn about each other. They end up meeting a mysterious woman that's at the back of the counter with Raffi, and they seem to be very close. So again, is that his girlfriend? Does he like girls? Does he like guys? Like, what is he into? And after seeing this, for some reason, Jake decides to bring up Cristiano for no reason about how great his boyfriend is, that he's so amazing. He has a massive penis, like major cock blocking. And apparently he does this because he's like, he's straight. I know he's straight. Just because he don't want your annoying ass down. After they leave the restaurant, this obviously starts an argument where Andrew is like, you always are meddling in my life and making it worse. And he's like, well, I help you get a role in a movie that you wanted to be in. He was like, after you caused me to lose my job in the first place. And it would seem that Jake is just too engrossed in this fake person, Cristiano, too much to realize that he's hurting all of the people in his life. His girlfriend Kelly is like, I miss hanging out with you, but he's riding the wave. Cristiano's getting millions of followers and he's getting sponsorships and he's making that money. One day, Nico messages Cristiano saying that Andrew is about to cheat on him with Nico. Cheat on Cristiano with Nico. There you go. So Nico's on his way to Andrew's house and the meddlers are there to intercept him on the way. Andrew's mom comes over to his apartment to congratulate him for dating Cristiano. It's very funny because again, somehow he's incredibly famous even though no one's seen him in person. She's also asking why him and Jake are fighting and that they should just make up. They've been friends for so long. Don't ruin your friendship over something so silly as a little fight. She also notices that he's cooking, which is something again he does not do because he's terrible at it. And he says, yeah, I'm taking Cristiano's cooking class. That's actually how we met. He talks a lot about how you can show love through food. And she's so excited for him. She's like, oh my God, your food still needs seasoning, but Rafi ends up coming to Andrew's self-defense class one day. He's like, well, you came to my cooking class. I'll come to your self-defense class. And things get very tense. But his coworker comes in to break him up and they're like, hey, like, I'm gonna need you to do a sparring match with one of the athletes here. I'll handle all of this. They just like me for real. It wasn't the plan though, and he ends up getting rocked by this giant dude. Ends up saying that the coworker was hitting on him, and asked him to go to get a drink, but he declined, saying that, I don't know, like maybe I would have to see somebody else, hang out with somebody else. Wink, wink. But again, because Andrew has a boyfriend, it will look not great to ask him out. Exactly. So back to Jake and his obsession with Cristiano. It's still going, and it's still creating wedges between him and all of his relationships of every kind. He's obsessed. And he's still getting messages from Nico talking about how Andrew will always choose him because, you know, he's obsessed with me even though he's with you, which is insane. He also sends this message while in the middle of a BDSM session, so rude. Rafi invites Cristiano and Andrew to the restaurant to thank him for plugging the restaurant. Apparently Cristiano had sent out a link sharing the restaurant, and now they're booked for months. But the problem is Cristiano doesn't exist, so how is he gonna come to the restaurant? So right when Rafi comes over to pick both of them up, Andrew says he's very sick. Incredibly sick. And so Jake and Kelly go into the bathroom and make moist noises as if it's coming out of both ends.
Do not open the door. I do not want you to see or smell me like this.
Just a catastrophe. Enough to scare them away so that they go to the restaurant by themselves. But instead of going to the restaurant, they decide to go roller skating instead. Have a little fun. Apparently this is something that both of them have always liked to do, even though Andrew's not particularly good at it. They see that the girl from the restaurant is also there and they hug. She looks at Andrew and Rafi's like, don't even think about it. He's a happily taken man. She's like, why do you always show me the unavailable ones? Show me someone who's available. And Andrew's like, oh, you two aren't dating then. And they look at each other and do that laugh like, girl, he gay. They're just very, very close friends and also co-owners of the restaurant. So at some point in the night, Andrew and Rafi talk about the many breakups that Andrew has had with Nico. And apparently this is something they have in common that they talk about a bit later. And as they're getting ready to go though, the friend goes up to Andrew and she's like, hey, you seem like a really cool guy, but you have a boyfriend and I would prefer you not mess around with Rafi. Rafi's a good guy. He's had bad relationships, bad boyfriends in the past, and I just don't want him to get hurt again. So don't mess around if you have a boyfriend, which is great friendship doing. But also the most important thing we learn is that he's gay, or at least he likes dudes. So, hey, party, only one issue. I got a fake boyfriend. And if I make a move, even though I think he's feeling me and I'm feeling him, I look like a cheater because of my fictitious boyfriend. On the car ride back, Rafi explains that he too had a guy that he kept going back to and leaving and going back to, and it was very toxic, and it ended with him ultimately cheating on him. He's just kind of like bemoaning how it's hard to find people that want to build something and like substantial. It's just hard to find people that want to fall in love as opposed to do this kind of superficial thing over and over and over again. And then Rafi corrects himself and he's like, oh, well, why am I telling you this? You're a lucky guy. You have a really great relationship. And Andrew's just like, yeah. But he returns back to his apartment, goes up to his room and sees that Nico is in his bed for some reason waiting for him. And Andrew's like, get the out. What the hell? It's been over. Nico's kind of like, wow, okay. When have you ever been over me? But he kicks him out. He's like, get the out of my house. And then he slams the door and then he realizes, oh my God, I am finally over Nico. Yes. It is good when that guy you really liked end up looking ugly to you now, when you remember he's ugly. Girl, so freeing to realize that man always looked like a naked mole rat. So realizing that the plan has officially worked, Andrew goes up to Jake and he's like, well, you can get rid of Cristiano. I'm going to tell Rafi how I feel and that's it. We're good. And Jake is like, Can't do that. Not yet, at least. I have so many sponsorships and deals I have to focus on. I'm doing a seminar in Singapore that I got to figure out how to AI generate. Like, I got stuff to do. Andrew and Kelly really want Jake to get rid of Cristiano, and he takes that as like a personal offense. He's like, oh, you guys just want me to go back to being a loser where I had nothing for me. Like, you have your job as a stunt, blah, blah, blah. You have your job as a doctor. She does something in the medical field, but I have nothing. This is the first thing that I have is an actual real thing, dude. The fight escalates until Kelly takes the computer and tells everyone on the internet that mega influencer, ultimate great guy, Cristiano has died in a fiery plane crash. And that happens right as Nico puts together that Jake is actually Cristiano. Now, on the set of that great movie that Andrew is finally able to be on, he ends up getting sprayed in the eye by one of the set pieces, and they mistake this as him having a breakdown about the death of his boyfriend. You've gone through a lot. Take this time for yourself. Heal. And he's like, no, I'm good. No, maybe you can come back for the sequel one day in the future. And so they fire him, essentially, telling him that he needs time to take to himself. And so now he's out of a job again. They end up having a funeral for Cristiano, sponsored by Absolute Vodka, which is hilarious. They call him an absolute angel. Rafi comes to the funeral to console Andrew. So he's in the audience, paying his respects. Jake prepares for the pastor or priest or whatever a over hour and a half eulogy. After they say, hey, let's speed this up, they allow Andrew's mom to go up to do a few words. She says a quick remark about how she never got to meet Cristiano, but she did see how much love that he gave to Andrew. And she shares the story of how they met at his cooking class. So Rafi's ears poke up. He's like, what? She tells a story about how essentially Andrew fell in love with him, but not Cristiano. It sounds like it's about Rafi. And Rafi's kind of like, oh my God, what's happening? What's going on at his funeral? Oh my God. And Rafi's like, I can't. I gotta leave. And so he starts to leave, but in busts Nico saying, the dude's not real. He goes up to the casket, opens it, sees a body inside, and he's like, no, I will not be deterred. This is fake. And he pulls the head off, and it's a doll. Everybody starts freaking out. He knocks over a candle and lights the whole casket on fire. Rafi leaves out in complete confusion and horror, and he's like, I don't want nothing to do with it. So a lot happened, okay? Jake and Kelly end up taking a break from each other, and Jake moves into Andrew's apartment, and they're both like texting the people they love, and they're like, hey, I miss you, can we talk? And eventually, after no response from that, the neighbor inspires both of them to do something that shows their love. So both of them cook like a 8 trillion course meal to win back their affections, even though neither of them can cook, and they did like a really good job though for once. The neighbor tricks both of them to end up at the same place, and there they are, Jake and Andrew, there to apologize. It's a rom-com, so they forgive each other and they dance and they admit where they were wrong. They reconcile and it's very cute. Rafi admits that he always hated that Andrew had a boyfriend, and he's like, well, it sounds like you want to be my real boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, I do want to be a real boyfriend. And then they kiss and it's very cute. And I was like, oh. That's basically the movie. They do one of those sitcom like still shots where they tell everybody like the updates afterward. Andrew got his role back for the movie's sequel. Jake is recruited by the FBI. Rafi's restaurant gets a Michelin star. Kelly joins Doctors Without Borders. Nico's soap opera gets canceled, and he hasn't worked since. And Cristiano is somehow still an influencer, even though everyone found out that he fake died. So there it is, everyone. That's my fake boyfriend. Again, kitschy, campy, unrealistic garbage as far as like no one remembering that the fake boyfriend got his head taken off and his funeral set on fire, even though it was live on Instagram and sponsored by Absolute Vodka. But it was a fun time, damn it. That's all I ask for. Is it some Oscar-winning performance by anyone? No. But is it some cute crap to watch? Yeah. So watch it if you have Amazon Prime. That's where I found it. I'm sure it's on other things too. Oh, or no, it might be an Amazon Prime original movie. I don't know. But it's very cute. So check it out if you want to. And that's all for today, folks. If you like this video, feel free to like this video. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. If you have other movies that you think I should watch for Pride, I bet you are, particularly if they're bad, because I like bad movies more so than good ones. Feel free to put those down in the comment section. I was thinking about watching Ben and Arthur because people were saying that that's like Gay the Room, or like a Neil Breen movie but gay, which sounds remarkable. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.